Hello and welcome back to the Macca's Talk Hockey Podcast, the podcast where me and my brother and our dad has joined us for this episode, talk about English ice hockey, specifically the NHL. And we've got another team special, the Leeds Knights Special. We've got three more to go, this one and our final two, Bristol and Sheffield. And we've got a very special guest on this one. We've got Mr. Sam Gospel. It's been a long time coming and it was a good interview, Charlie, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I've always liked Gospel. He's kind of an icon of the league, I think it's fair to say. Yeah, we get along really well. I think it's a really good interview if you're a Leeds fan or even if you're not a Leeds fan. I just think it has so much insight and so much to offer. And yeah, you're going to enjoy it, people.
Nice one. If you don't know what the specials are and this is your first time watching one of our team specials, we do each episode on every single team in the National League. We've already recorded seven, which are live on our YouTube right now, where we talk about each team individually, looking back at last season. We then have the interview with the player, and then we look at this season, who the team has signed up, our expectations, and a ones to watch each. So we'll do the ones to watches at the end for Leeds. But let's start then with the Leeds Knights last season. And they did the three in a row, Dad. Three league titles in a row, which is just quite ridiculous, really. And they also managed to get that cup trophy for the first time, something which has kind of slipped away from them over the years, but they finally got that cup. Yeah, you can't really complain about that season for Leeds, can you?
No, you probably can't. They probably need a bigger trophy cabinet to fit them all in. But yeah, you can't argue. That's pretty impressive. Three on the trot. A lot closer last season, I think. But they still managed to be the most consistent team to get the league again, three in a row. So and the elusive cup that they were missing from that cabinet as well. So yeah, they done well. Done well.
Yeah. Charlie, what are you ranking their season? Obviously, they fell short at the playoffs. I think MK were due finally getting one over them. But in the league, it was a lot harder. They lost a few more games than they had the two
Mm.
seasons prior, which was expected because the league is getting better. But they still come out and top. And in especially in that run into the last like 10, 15 games of the season, they just did what Leeds do.
Yeah, I think a 9.5 out of 10. It's it for the expectation of the team. I think there was slightly less expectation coming in onto them this year, and they went and won the league. They won the cup. They won three league titles in a row. It's not easy to do. And so yeah, credit where credit's due. They're the best team in the league for a reason, and they're gonna want to repeat that again in season four.
Yeah, well, they had a similar team last season to the season
Mm.
before. They re-signed obviously Matt Barron and McMullen, who have been massive parts of their journey, and I'm sure we'll talk about them a bit in the second part. But they also signed Bissonnette, Dad, and we thought when the season started, Bissonnette is a bit of a slower player in the way he plays.
Mm.
He's a very big playmaker, but he's a big game player, and I think it took him a little time to settle in, but he'd always chip in with the assists, and then as soon as he got used to playing with Leeds, he was just finished second in scoring behind Kieran Brown. So he was a massive part of their season.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good signing, and I think the expectations were really high. And exactly as you said, I think he started off a little bit slower or didn't quite achieve what I thought he was going to achieve straight away, having been in the league and knows the league. Um, but once he got comfortable with Leeds, there was no stopping him. I almost felt sometimes he just managed to just be that calmness in the team. And he plays at his pace, which sometimes I thought felt slow, but it's not. It's really measured, and then he just put the accelerator down. Once he was settled, and yeah, he was second top scorer for a reason. He's an excellent player.
Yeah. And then Charlie, the big headline for me of last season was their third line, and that was the best, one of the best third lines we've seen in the National League, and they really owned it last season as well. And normally you look at the third line in a lot of teams and it's thrown out there to recycle ready back to the top guys, but this was a third line which Leeds really relied on, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it's tough to call it a third line when it would be a lot of them guys were getting most teams as top six, especially Finn Braden, the superstar of that line, and then obviously Ollie and Innes are just they're like dogs. They're constantly at you. Yeah, an absolute brilliant line to watch and just got them over the edge in games. And Gospel actually speaks about them in the interview. And they just set the tempo. And one of the examples of how good that third line was is they started most periods because Ryan Aldridge wanted them to play against the top lines, and they set the tempo. They set the way the game's going to play. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that line again this season.
Mm.
Yeah, well, we'll go through the roster in the second half, but let's get into the Sam Gospel interview because it was a cracking interview, and I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to it. So we'll see you in the second part. Hello and welcome back. We've got a special guest for our Leeds Knights Special, and I'm surprised it's took this long for us to get him on, but we're delighted to be joined by Leeds Knights goalie and three-time back-to-back-to-back league champion Sam Gospel. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, very well. Thanks
Uh,
for having me on, boys.
Appreciate you hopping on, even though it is quite late. But how's your off season? How's your off season been? Obviously, it's coming to an end soon.
Yeah, it's been really nice. It's nice to have the time off, but back in the swing of it now, so we're all getting excited.
Nice one. I believe um, you do nice to spend some time with the family as well, obviously with a newborn as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a hard, like a busy summer, but it's rewarding. So it's been nice. It'll be weird going back and like leaving him at the weekend and everything like that. So it'll be a different challenge again.
Nice
Yeah.
one. Before Charlie comes in, have you managed to get back on the ice yet? I know I think it's 2 weeks now, I think.
Yeah, so normally we try to skate as much as we can in Nottingham.
Mhm.
A group of lads like me, Ollie, Kels, Tets, all the guys that still live in Nottingham, we all sort of get together in the summer and skate. But this summer been a bit difficult getting ice time. So not as much as normal, but it's still enough.
Nice one. Go on, Chaz.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to talk through a little bit of your earlier career today, because I always find it fascinating from a goalie's perspective in England, because I think it's always quite a hot topic, and I think you've had a really unique kind of journey through the ranks up into that starting spot. So take it back to Nottingham, one of the top academies, I think it's fair to say, in England. What was it like growing up in Nottingham and going through their systems in the Lions and stuff?
It's such a privileged place to play, because the environment there and like the setup, the building, everything within Nottingham system. So we're so fortunate to be able to grow up in that environment. We never had that trouble of like not having a nice arena or anything to do with those kind of things. So it was lucky to be growing up there and having that facility. And I think when I was a lot younger, growing up through like under tens all the way through, I think back then the pathway was a bit disjointed. So, going through that, it is harder to come out the other side. But now the pathway's really clear for all the kids coming through. So,
Yeah.
they've done a really good job um, doing that. But yeah, it's such a privileged place to play. And, you know, when I was younger, the Nottingham team, we always had good success. So it's good to learn how to win.
I
Yeah.
think the big question me and Charlie wanted to ask you coming on, obviously you come into Telford at what, 20, 21 years old, and it was the EPL. And there's a lot of chat right now, oh, how are the younger goalies going to come through in this league? But you had to battle for your place in the EPL, didn't you? And you didn't get the start for a lot of games. You shared the net in many seasons. So do you want to talk us through kind of growing up as a young lad in the EPL and having to share the goalie and fight for your spot?
Yeah, so when I was playing in Nottingham, all my whole junior career was in Nottingham, but then with Nottingham, there's obviously no EPL team. So I was signed for the Panthers on a two-way with the Lions. And then with the league the Lions was in, there wasn't that much progression. So I jumped at a chance to go on a trial with the Telford Tigers. Tommy Watkins gave me a shot, and
He's been around, hasn't he?
yeah, yeah, I owe it all to him. But yeah, so I jumped on a trial, and then he picked me, so I was backing up to Deck Ryan at the time.
Yeah.
So at that point I was 19, I
Yeah.
think, just picking at little chances, jumping the net as much as I can. I didn't expect much in that first year, and then I believe Deck moved on, and then I picked up a job with Merds because he
Yeah.
was in Swindon.
Yeah.
I might have missed a year or two there, but and
No,
then it was me and Merds.
Yeah, I think you did it with Murdy, and then you kind of had different goalies you were sharing the net with. You stayed, and then they went with the import netminder. I think it was Baston and Rashka. Am I
Yeah,
right in that
so
one
yeah, you got it.
season?
Yeah. So Rashka was the import at the start. And
Yeah,
then to me, this was like when the UPL was starting to get a bit chaotic.
yeah,
And it was such a good league to play as like chaos, like organized chaos. But
yeah.
yeah, like Rashka started in that team, and then I just again picked at the chance to jump in.
yeah,
And like the year before, like me and Merge shared it, which was really cool to be with Merge as well. Because we
Mhm.
were super similar in terms of style, playing, and height, and everything. And then at the time, the team got us matching pads, so literally we looked identical in the net. So, but yeah, so then Rashka left halfway through that
yeah.
year, and then John Baston came, who
From
was
the
at
Bison?
Basingstoke.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he was at Bison. I think he shared with Hadlovsky for a little bit.
Gadlowski, yeah.
What a stud! But yeah,
It was insane, man.
yeah, sick. But yeah, he shared, and then I just again picked my little chances here and there, and just learnt really. You know,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it was just that was the main thing, just picking up what you can from each type of goalie, and
yeah.
for the goalies out there, but just learn from the guy you're behind as much as you can.
And do you think Tom Watkins had a big part to play as because it was a league where there were import netminders, as you said, or Thomas Murdy, who was an import quality of a netminder. And you see on the elite prospects, it went from 9 appearances to 18 to 29 to 26. Do you
Mm.
think it was what do you think that kind of difference was which kept getting you more starts, more minutes in goal? And how do you think as a goalie you handled it being only 19 to start off with, kind of trying to get that starter spot, trying to get as much ice time in a very, very competitive league and in a good team in Telford as well. They were not bad.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It was just a case of, like I said, just trying to pick up those chances where they come in, and just sort of grab it with both hands. Like obviously the pressure's on when you do get in, but we all play because we like the pressure. So, you're trying to learn, you're trying to develop, but you also have to jump at those chances. And fortunate, lucky, talented, I don't know what they might be, but I was able to jump on, and it's competitive nature, isn't it? So like, when Merds was there, you run with the hot goalie, and then if Merz was hot, we'd run with him. If I was hot, I'd run,
Hmm.
and then it did differ a little bit with the imports, but it is what it is. But yeah, just picking those chances and working as hard as you can, and not really being determined, not really taking no for an answer. I think that's the main thing.
Mhm.
What was your mindset then when you were, I guess, as Charlie said, when you were younger, 19, 20, and then I think in your last season you must have been what, 23, 24 years old.
Mm.
Was your aim always to just keep progressing and then get to the elite league and play a bit in the elite league as well?
Yeah, so like genuinely early days in like really young career, I didn't really have that many aspirations to play pro. It
Okay.
it just sort of fell right. So I'm going back a few years here, but I was obviously in Nottingham, and then they needed a goalie to play. So Corey Nielsen signed me straight away because they flew me out, signed me on like a Friday afternoon,
Love
and
that.
flew me to Belfast for the pre-season. So it's that like kind of, it was so cool, but like that first instance was right place, right time.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's just sort of sticking with it and getting every chance you can, I guess.
And
Mhm.
I know this is a Leeds Knights episode. We will get to Leeds in a bit. But I did have a quick question. Obviously, it's linked with Telford. Obviously, they've got Brad Day, who's an older goalie, and Ben Norton. can you kind of see similarities in the way Tom Watkins handles kind of the two goalies for when you were younger and you were paired with a goalie as well?
Yeah, so Tommy's he's such a knowledgeable coach and still get on with him really well. But yeah, and obviously his brother was a goalie, so he has that. He understands how they all work, and goalies are a special breed that everyone likes to say. But yeah, he does such a good job of monitoring ice time, and I think for the year coming, it'll be a good challenge for Brad. Like, I hope he doesn't mind me saying it. He is such a good goalie, and I'm sure it will help him having Norton there to take
Oh,
some of
yeah.
the minutes as well. So it'll give him that motivation to keep going and everything like that. And you can bounce off another goalie when you're in that situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Go on, Chaz. Let's get into some
So
Knights talk
Leeds
then.
fans get excited. I don't know what the statistic is here. Are you the only OG Leeds player left, or is there one or two left?
Me and Lewis Baldwin.
Baldwin, that's it.
Yeah.
I knew there's one
You
more.
and Lewis Baldwin are the two Leeds Chiefs
Mm.
OGs, and I remember Leeds Chiefs. I remember going to some rink which didn't have boards and had nets around it.
That was
Um,
Charlie's birthday. That game was great.
yeah,
I think Swindon were 3-0 up.
Yeah.
Leeds Chiefs got back to 3-3. It went to overtime, and I think Chris Jones scored an overtime.
Oh, that was in Solihull, I think.
What,
yeah,
I
with
think
no boards?
yeah, no boards, just netting.
Yeah.
yeah. Fascinating place.
Yeah.
The Leeds Chiefs. What a crazy year. It says on Elite Prospects you had 1,580 shots against, but I reckon it was a lot more than that on Instat.
Mm.
What was it like playing in a team which struggled for numbers, was trying to get established? You didn't have a rink for most of the year. How was it? Because that must have been mental.
It literally, like, where was I? I was obviously in Nottingham before, and I was like, right, I need to, get back to playing some more time.
Yeah.
I want to play more time. I want to be motivated, everything like that. So, obviously, I played with Sam Zajac in Telford, and we
Oh,
won a championship in Telford. So he was like, "Look, Sam, as in me, Sam, I need you to come. Like, with new rink, new franchise, new structure. I'll be the coach. So in some ways, sold the dream.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's
oh
worked
yeah,
out.
this will be great. And then like the whole sort of the rink will be ready. The rink will be ready in September. Then it was November. Then it was December. Then it was like Feb, etc., etc. And then we finally got in Feb against Sheffield.
Yeah.
And that first game, no one ever been to the rink. So when all the Chiefs got there, we were like, oh right, this is our rink now.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
It's the ring
yeah,
as well. It's a
so
nice little barn.
yeah, it's half finished. Great.
They didn't have
uh,
like a capacity of like 500 on the
yeah,
side.
so opposite where we come out, it was like there was just some people there, and then we looked around and just wood, just like timbers and everything up the other side. So yeah, it was chaos. But like I think like I speak to Sam a lot, and like that year that really really took its toll on us. Like the whole because I'm obviously live in Nottingham, and
Yeah.
I was traveling to Blackburn to practice on a Thursday night. It's like 2.5 hours, getting back at 2 3 a.m.
Oh
and
my
then
goodness.
I didn't train on a Friday because it's nuts driving back to Blackburn for a Friday afternoon practice, and then we don't have a home rink, so we're playing home games in Planet Ice away rinks, which was nuts.
No net with no
Yeah,
balls.
yeah, just chaos. I remember one game in Peterborough. I think it was a double header. So like we played the home game for them as they were the home
Yeah, you did
team,
a
and
lot of
then
that. Yeah.
yeah, and then the next day it was like flipped. So we were like the home team on the Peterborough bench, and it was just like such a mess. But made some good friends that year. So
Yeah.
it was chaos, but got peppered as well. So
Well, I was going to
yeah.
say that's the first time in your career, really, which you played pretty much every game in the season. So how
Mm.
did you find that? And I don't
And
think
that was your first season doing that.
I don't think you've
Yeah,
Probably
had
like, I've had enough of this.
yeah, probably
no
should have
wonder
quit
you're
then.
prepared now. Like you had that in the Chief stage, but yeah, how was that? Just playing every single game and knowing it was your net.
I flourished, I think. Like when obviously the past few years having Harrison, like he's been so good and so willing to learn. I kept trying to drill it into him, but like I was a late bloomer.
Yeah.
Like he was like, "What do you mean? You were signed at Panthers at 16. Yeah, but to me, I only really got good at like the latter end of my time at Telford,
You never got
and
the
then
GVs, did you? That's
never
what
made a
shocked
GB.
me in your career. You haven't played a GV game.
Yeah, well, I played one, but it's not on my elite prospects. It was a
Okay.
GB warm up like challenge game, like prospect game against Romania in Fife. Like
Hell
literally
yeah.
couldn't get any
You got the
worse.
cap. You got the cap.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, it was just I don't know, just it just set me up to like be more hungry.
Yeah.
Because I
Hmm.
think not playing a lot early days in my career kind of made me think, oh, this is actually really cool. Like I'll run with it. And like now I'll hold my hands up. I'm my best when I'm in the net. Like I find it quite difficult to share and be a tandem and not through like selfish reasons, but just being in that momentum. Like, some days I ache, some days, back bit bruised and everything. But if I take a game off, that's when it gets a bit difficult for me. So it's like just keep running and
Hmm.
just keep playing, keep winning, which has been really nice in Leeds. So
Yeah. Oh, you that first season back in Leeds, you got your home rink, and it was an all Brit squad, not a single import you had
That
in
was
that
great.
season. And you
yeah,
got to the final against Swindon, and it was a really good final actually in that COVID. And you obviously had that season, and then the next season is where it all kind of kick started for the Leeds Knights. What do you think it was? What was the kind of the flick of the switch? Do you think with the team and the mentality and everything?
I think it was just like I think for me, the main thing was like Ryan coming in.
Yeah.
I didn't know Ryan before, and like obviously being an older guy, I played against him a lot. And I was terrified of him. Like he was, chaos on the ice. But yeah, like Ryan coming in, give it a fresh start, give it a new lease of life. Like, right, we're getting to work now and building this team, building the core that still remains today.
You're only
Um,
there for a little loan period as well, weren't
yeah,
you?
exactly. And he was just hanging on for a bit, and then he's going back and doing it. He was, I think he might have been going over to the Europe to coach and all like that. But yeah, it was such a refresh and just like a clean slate. Last year's behind us sort of thing. We're running now sort of thing, and it was so good, so refreshing. And then Steve backing him up as well, and just all the little things like infrastructure and for players like equipment, housing, different budgets, everything like that. And it was just like for me, it was like just returning back to like elite days when I was in the elite league and stuff like that. So it's just a nice refresh and
Mhm.
just a reset. Really,
You
it
felt
was.
you felt comfortable as a goalie being able to just get that routine back again after a
Yeah,
couple
yeah,
chaos
absolutely.
seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice one. Go on, Chaz.
And I gotta say, onto the 2022-23
Oh,
season, the first league winning year. Kieran Brown, Cole Shudra, Matt Hayward, Zach Brooks, Grant Cooper, Matt Cowler, Adam Barnes, Jake Witkowski. Is that the most dominant team you've ever played on? Because
Um,
that team was insane. I know
considering it was just
played on the
two
16,
imports.
17 Telford year as well, but
mm,
that team, for me, that since the National League's come back, that's the most dominant national team for the period time I've watched. It was
yeah,
insane.
yeah. Like, no, I agree. Like, since I played on that Telford team where
Yeah.
we ran everyone over. Like,
That was the Dougie Clarks and Matty Davies team.
yeah. So that up until that, like, since that team, that's the most dominant team I've ever played on. Like, we just went into every single game and just knew we were just going to roll them over. And it was just like it the way it felt was like even if it was like MK or Swindon or wherever we just walked it felt like we just walked into every away room and were swanned onto the ice and it was like well we're done like they're done.
It was scary. It was terrifying coming across that Leeds team. Like I
Mm.
remember a game in Swindon where we
5-1 after a
dominated in the
period.
first period. But Grant Cooper scored two missiles out of nothing. Brown
Mm.
scored a missile out of nothing. And I remember Ryan Aldridge and now doing the interview afterwards and now went, I don't know how we lost that. And Ryan Aldridge went, I don't know how we won that. But it was
Yeah,
just this team which like it didn't matter. You found a way. And yeah,
yeah,
that was
it's
that was
just
something special.
yeah, and it was just like the relentlessness of the talent for me.
Yeah.
Like it was just consistent, like roll the lines, just go. Like we were running four, And at the time, I think our fourth could have competed with that second first line, and we were just
Cam Hamill or no Carter or the Endicott, yeah.
yeah, and we just rolled teams over, and like especially when they'd come up to Leeds, we just turn teams inside out and just like obviously the way we play is chaos. Like it is
Younger
just
team as well.
yeah, just end to end, and just like obviously it's been nice so far. Like I've been able to stop it one end and let the boys go the other way. And I think for me, like being on such a chaotic team, I hold my end of the bargain as much as I can.
Oh, you make some chaotic saves as
Maybe
well.
Yeah.
you suit the chaotic vibe in a good way. Like in that team, of course, the way that you play hockey, there can be moments where there's lots of 2-on-1s and games can open up a bit. But as fans who play against you, as we know very well, you like to rob the other team
How
multiple
do you
times a
mentally
night.
how do you mentally stay in a game when maybe you are dominating it and then you get the odd chance, which isn't just it's just Charlie said, a chaotic save you have to make.
Um, it's just I think like without jumping too far into like goalie nerd stuff, but
Yeah.
to me it's just like making sure like for me personally it's like trying to make it like I'm at the other end with them sort of thing. And then when it comes my way, it's not a surprise. But yeah, like I think I'll hold my hands up. Sometimes I'm not the prettiest goalie to watch. Like, it sometimes it just hits me or dive across and whatever it may be. But it it's just fun. Like I think it was last year there was like 2-on-1 break. We're in the league. I think you were commentating,
Oh yeah, I
Jack.
probably was. It was the overtime winner, was it? The 3-2
Possibly,
game.
and Aaron just came out. Malash was like on my right coming down the wing, and then Aaron came out of nowhere and just one
Oh, you
timed it
just flick
straight.
your arm. Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and I just threw like Jenny just threw myself over because I knew he was going to shoot, and I got it.
Do you
And
think that's
yeah,
helps though? Because you're not a big goalie, and
mm,
there's some big goalies, well, especially in the EPL, Hedorowski, Orzins,
yeah,
and the MK Odd Robney.
yeah,
You're the complete opposite, where you're quite a small but agile goalie. So do you think in a way that kind of suits you as well?
yeah. Like
That to
I
adapt?
said, yeah. Like I've had conversations with Ryan over the years, and he, talks to me about how we play and everything. I've said to him like it's fine. Like I like the go go go, and then if it is chaos my way, then I'm more than capable of sorting it. So
Yeah.
it's just let me do my bit, and like for me, it's like I'll always take the shot. If there's a pass, I'll go, and just I don't know. Like a good example from last year, last 2 years was me and Mullen at McMullen,
Yeah.
and we just clicked. Like it was just like
Such a
he
good
knew
team.
exactly what I was doing. I knew exactly what he was doing, and it was such. It might look chaos, and he's flying around, I'm flying around. I've seen pictures of me and him like I'm facing backwards. He's in the he's facing me, looking at me, and it still doesn't go in because we just kind of get it.
Mhm.
And I think the way we played just suited me.
Yeah.
Um, so hopefully we'll keep doing chaos.
Was last year the toughest season for you? Because obviously the league did get a bit better. Milton Keynes got you right until the end, and that away game in Milton Keynes, whoever wins that probably pretty much wins the league.
Yeah,
And your whole team just stepped up. You stepped up yourself as well, and I think it was 4-1 in the end or 4-2 in Milton Keynes. How like that just speaks levels of this Leeds team that you can have that chaotic style, but in that game you were so solid defensively. I remember Dan saying like the whole team locked in on that defensive side as well.
yeah, absolutely. Going into that, I think last season we towed the line a lot.
Yeah.
Just we slipped up a couple of times, and fortunately for us, MK slipped up similar times. Like I think we
Mm.
both lost to Bracknell for
Yeah.
loads of times. But it was just we just kept slipping up, and like I said, ultimately it came down to that game in Milton Keynes, and before we were just just like like in MK it's a big arena and everything like that, and to be fair they do try and play quite chaotic and
Yeah.
get everyone after you, that sort of thing. And I think we just sort of said in the room, like, let's just take the first 10. We'll just take the first 10, see how we go. And just once that's out, then we'll get to work. And I think you're right. I think it was 3-1 or 4-1. And we just five in the house, let's not panic. Let's not go end to end today. And it was just like for me, it was like a bit of a culture shock because it was just like, whoa, defense.
Go on,
Yeah.
Chaz.
One of the things that I've always found with you, and I've joked around with Instagram messages with you before after games, is you're so relaxed and have a laugh in a game.
Mm.
And I would say, and I think you'll agree, you're not a goalie who gets in his own head too much. You like
No.
to stay loose and you like to stay calm. And one of my funniest memories is, do you remember the game against Swindon where it was like 8-7 or something?
No, it was 9-6.
Yeah,
Oh.
9-6. And I remember like me and Ben Callahan were shouting, Gospel, let in another one. And you were looking at us nodding and laughing. And it was like 6-5 in the game. And
One of them, wasn't it?
and what is it about you as a person, which just means that I don't think you really let the occasion become too much or maybe you let in a soft one. You don't let that take over your whole game. How do you do that as a goalie?
Especially as a goalie, because I'd say you're in your own world as a goalie as well.
Yeah, like it is an isolated position, but like for me, it could be worse. That's the way I sort of look at it. Like if you let a bad one in, you could have let a worse one in. Make up for it in some other way, or in that game, whatever it was, 9-7 or whatever. But I just try and delete it. Like it went in. So
Right,
like
Brown will go and score another one.
yeah,
He
yeah,
scored a
to
Michigan that
some
game, so that
degree.
was great.
But yeah, it's just like I don't know, just chill out. Like it's not that big of a deal. And like to be fair, like in the like years ago, I used to freak out about my stats,
Yeah.
but it was just a case of stats will take care of themselves. Just get hit by it,
Yeah.
And I say to some of the lads, like at the end of the day, they're trying to put it past me, and we're trying to put it in past them. So let's not freak out. The fans are going to come in. They're going to pay their money. They're probably going to shout some abuse at you. It might be funny. If it is, laugh. It's not a big deal. Like,
You do that a lot. I can imagine you enjoy that as a goalie. You strike
yeah,
me as someone who enjoys the chirps.
it's funny. Like, like the creative people out there, like, it is funny. Like, you go up to Hull and literally,
Oh,
I
wow.
step on the ice. It's like, save. I'm like, oh, that was a good one. But yeah, it's just fun. Like, and I think sometimes people forget how much you can hear. Like in some rinks, it's a bit further away and things like that. But in Swindon, because the gantry is like right there, you can hear everything. And like even to the point where there's like a delay on the music. I'm like
Oh,
talking about what they're having for dinner, or and it's just stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's fun, and I think there was one time in Leeds, someone chipped the puck in behind me, and I went out to collect it, and then I used the glass as like a reflection. And then like I was like face to face with some woman behind the glass, and she was like freaking out, and I was like, fine, just scooped it around the boards, and but I don't know, I just enjoy the fun side of it. It's just fun. Like,
yeah.
I
It's
don't know
such a
it.
refreshing mentality sometimes in a team, like especially like you see it online and it's great. Like the pressure of the league last season was brilliant. It was a cracking title race. But then you got Sam Gospel looking at reflections behind him and like
But
singing along to Sweet Caroline in the Swindon rink. And you're a fun goalie to watch. And
thank you. But yeah, I think I saw it was a tweet, Instagram or something like that, and there was a picture of me doing something stupid or just having a great time, and then someone like went down in the comments and someone commented like, "How is this guy the best guy and the best goalie in the league?" I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I think because you've got older as well and you can enjoy it. And I think I did want to talk about one game, and that's you had the first leg against Romford, and we know what Romford's like, and they ended up winning that leg 5-4, and you come back to your place. Is that the loudest game you've ever played in, or one of them? Because the other lads were saying it was just so loud.
Yeah, like I remember Ollie coming on and saying it was such a loud rink, and like it was like it was just, don't know, it was just excitement, and there was like zero doubt. And every single person in the rink was just going nuts. from the second we stepped on for warm up, for the start of the game, and everything, it was just surreal. Like for the level and for the quality and just for everyone there, it was so good. And for like the likes of Ollie that might not have played in a game like that,
Yeah.
oh, I bet that was really cool. Like, and
And
for
you'd
those
never.
younger guys to experience it, I bet that incredible.
I was gonna say you've not won that cup yet either, so you ticked that one off as well. And how mentally, how much did that mean to you? Because that was the one that you couldn't win, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Like, I think we didn't letting it slip's probably the wrong way to put it, but we got beat, which is absolutely fine. But the easiest way, letting it slip was the one. It was the one that's been getting away.
Mm.
And to be in some weird way, I think losing in Romford did us a favour,
Yeah.
because I think if we came out as a draw or came out one goal up, it might have gone another way, because we might have just been like, oh, we've got one up, we'll be fine. And that kind of mentality kind of does make things happen differently. But I think because we were chasing from first drop, that's why we were so successful in that game. And obviously the fans were just incredible, like just nuts the whole way through. And every save, every goal, every hit, I think Chris had a fight, and it was just like everything just
Yeah.
snowballed into just they didn't stand a chance by the end of it. That was the kind of way it felt. But
Nice one, Charlie. Do you have any more
I,
from
I
last
think
season before we get to this season?
I think one of the questions I wanted to ask is you're going into your sixth season as a Leeds player. What does Leeds mean to you? A team which you've just been so successful at, three league titles, a cup, a playoff, and then obviously many finals and semi-finals as well. What does it mean to play for Leeds for you now?
um, everything really, like genuinely, like it.
Mhm.
Obviously, I joined towards the end of my career, latter stages of my career at 26, 27, but whatever it was. But it really does mean a lot. I said to Sam Zajac, it gave me a chance to love it again, because
Mhm.
I think coming back from the Elite League, it was just sort of I needed something to get going again, and I needed to fall in love with it again. And coming to Leeds and being the guy, quote the guy to do it, I think it genuinely made me love it again and made me fall in love with the sport and gave me that, sort of hope again that it's still there. And it gave me that chance to perform, play, win championships, everything. So it's been so far like incredible. Like the best club I've played at, hands down.
Nice. It's run so well. I was going to ask actually. There is changes though this season. There's been a lot of change, and you get that with teams which win trophies. And you've got a couple new D men coming in. The import looks really good. He's played in very good university level, and Sam Cooper as well, who's a good young talent. What do you as a goalie? How do you kind of get that connection? Because you talked about that really good connection with Noah.
Hmm.
How will you try and get that good connection with the new D men and any new D men which you end up playing with? What's kind of that plan, if you know what I mean? I don't know how to say it.
No, that's cool. So for me, it's like genuine. Like the past few years, I've sat down with the defensemen.
Yeah.
Obviously, the ones that I play with know, but the newer guys, I'll sit down with them and say like, "This is what I do.
Hmm.
Like, tell me what you do. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me how you want to talk on the ice. Do you want to talk normally? Like keep it professional. Well, because like last few seasons, I'll just have a conversation with Molly. Like he'll skate past me. Are you all right, Molly? Yeah, yeah. Just like that kind of thing. And but
We had him on the
just
pod, man. He's great.
he is such a sweetheart. And but yeah, like I love him. But yeah, like just figure out what they like, what they don't like, what how much you want me to play the puck, how much I want to play the puck. Just that sort of that basic level of communication, and then sort of add layers to it as we start, go through preseason, see what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, I like to obviously see the puck, which is quite nice. So
Because
I'm
I
sure
remember
I'm
the first preseason game last year it was 9-8 to you lot
yeah.
overtime against Sheffield.
Yeah, we were like, oh man.
Yeah, long year, boys.
But that's where you're
Yeah,
sorting
yeah.
it out, though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And you always want to win, but preseason is learning, it's seeing how the team is and building those connections and stuff like that. And I think sometimes there's a lot of pressure. People provide a lot of pressure on preseason, but it's just
Yeah.
getting ready. Like, we were all, if you said to someone in a real world, let's call it a real world job, take 4 months off and then come back in and perform exactly how you did 4 months ago, it's a tall order.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's just we're just gonna find out how we do it. And obviously, like past few years, Mully was a smaller D man, and
yeah.
then like
This guy's a
bigger.
bigger one, yeah.
Sam's bigger. I've not really met Sam. I met him last week when we practiced together, but
Yeah.
and then obviously Matt, he's a bigger guy, so hopefully he'll be able to move some guys out in front, which would be nice. And just a bit more of a presence really, which will be quite cool. And
Nice
all
one.
the guys so far seem great, so looks
That's
good.
good. Go on, Chaz.
And yeah, you're going into a season where, and I'm not trying to make you feel old, but you're one of the experienced older heads in the dressing room now. So
Yeah.
how do you see your role helping some of these younger guys like Sam Cooper? You've got two new backups in Ollie and Dan Norton,
Mhm.
Ollie Booth, and you've got quite a few younger players joining the team, as Aldridge always likes. How do you see your role as one of the older guys in the dressing room who's seen it all in a lot of
Yeah, yeah, literally. Yeah, say Aldermore. But yeah, no, it's just sort of trying to teach them how to be a pro,
Yeah.
because some of them just might not know. Some of them just don't understand what it takes. And fortunate enough for me, I've been, like I said, everywhere. So, I've done the whole elite
hmm
EPL, NHL, COVID Cup, whatever it may be, and I've done it sort of thing. So it's just sort of teaching them the right and wrongs of how to be a pro, how to communicate, how to, teach yourself how to be a hockey player really. And like when young Ollie and Bailey came up, it was chaos. Like they're such little sweethearts, but they were chaos to start with, and like they developed into established pros.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, it's just trying to help them nurture it, and like Biz and Artist, the new guy, we've all been around the block, so to say. So it's just like I said, just teaching them what's the right and wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
And just how to be a pro. And if you're a young guy, pick up the pucks. And it might sound very traditional, but it's those little wins where you can sort of gain guys' respect and just that kind of thing. So
Yeah, I get you.
Obviously, you've won the league 3 times in a row now. You haven't quite managed to do the treble, which I'm sure is a big goal for everyone. I know it's so hard to do with the league getting better, but
mm.
how do you and the other guys who have been there for a long time keep yourself motivated and not take your foot off the gas after winning the league 3 times in a row?
I think like for me personally, it might be different for other guys, but like why not? Like, like once is great, incredible. Twice is just nuts. 3 times is out of this world. Why not? Like, it's just if you're on that roster that we're so good and so talented, great group of guys. Why not do it again? Why not? Like the worst thing to see, like obviously some guys I'm close with around the league, and I'd love them for them to win it, which would be amazing. But like I
Yeah.
want to win it. So it's just that competitive nature, and it doesn't take much to motivate some players. And like for me, I just want to win. Like we all play to win, and it's just I just want to do it. Like we wouldn't be playing if we didn't know I wanted to win, sort of thing. So, but yeah, it might, like I say, it might be different for other guys, but for me, why not just win it again? First year pressure, pressure just builds and builds and builds. And obviously last year wobbled a bit, and when it came down to it, we turned it on and got it done. But yeah, why just go out and win? Like we're the only ones stopping us, sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm
Nice one.
sure every fan in the league is thrilled to hear that, Sam.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone just want to go. I'll let someone else say it. Go crack on with it this year.
Yeah, it's going to be a good season again, and I think it's great how and we saw it last year as you spoke about with Bees and some of them other teams seeing Romford make a cup final. The bottom end teams, and we're calling them bottom end teams, but they're getting
Mm.
better each year. Even you look at Bristol, who finished bottom, they've signed to the top goal scorer of the league, and then they've
Yeah.
also signed Dunbar and all sorts. And, like They've got a lot. The talent is going up from the bottom as well, which is just
Yeah,
going to make the league harder to win. And every game, someone like yourself has got to be on it, and everyone's got to be on it to win each game.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think for us as a group, like we've said all the way through that no one wants us to win. We've won it the first time, and then it was like they're all going to play harder against you, and then again the season after they're going to play harder, and coming obviously next season everyone's just going to keep playing harder because from their point of view, I'm sure no one wants to see us win anything again. They
We
want,
don't.
yeah. But you know what I mean? Like it's just they've won enough. I think that's the narrative that a lot of people
Yeah.
would use. But from a athlete's point of view, yeah, we have won. But why
And you've
why
got new
not stop?
guys in there who haven't won now, and they'll be wanting to win a league title, and I'm sure that's the pull of coming to a team like Leeds as well, and it kind of just recycles through everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes I find it tough on the newer guys because like we won the first year and then new guys come in and it's like, oh, but they won last year, got to win again, and then it snowballs, all right. So it's just tough. Like last year, we wanted to do it because obviously Biz was in the roster and we wanted
Yeah.
Biz to win and all that kind of thing, and then we won, and then that it's just like that snowball of the new guys coming in.
Yeah.
I don't know if they thrive under pressure like every pro, but yeah, it's just the draw of coming to a winning team is huge, and you want to play for the win. So
A quick fire question, and I don't know if you have any, Charlie, as well. Quick fire. Who's someone to watch out for this season? If you, I know you could mention a lot of players, but who's someone to really watch out for this season?
um, I don't. There's so many like all the imports that the new guys that are coming in. I'm just interested to see what they're like, but I'm sure Walker Sommer will just be flying around the ice again and causing chaos. But yeah, I enjoy playing against him, and it's a good battle, and he seems like a good guy. So for me, he's just one to watch. Like he's just so fast, like, especially on the big ice in Sheffield. Like he's great to watch. So I'm playing against him, and I'm like, oh, that was cool.
He's rapid. He gets so many breakaways, and
Yeah.
you must have had to face it. What is it like when you get players coming in at you 1v1? Because we've seen you many times. Malas, you've had so many battles against Tomasz.
You.
Yeah.
Does it get in your head sometimes that the players, because Malas obviously has his move, which he does, but he can also do another little move. So what is it like as a goalie when someone is coming down one-on-one on you?
Yeah, like I'm a bit of a nerd with that kind of thing. So I'll sit and watch breakaways. I'll sit and watch penalty shots and just that kind of thing. And you know, Malash will come down on my right hand side and try to fake dragon all the way and slip it through the 5-hole. And I'll hold my I'll hold my hand up and go, yeah, he's done that to me loads of times. But yeah, like just that kind of thing. To me, it's just as a goalie, just be patient.
Yeah.
Like like I said earlier, like they're trying to put it past you, so they've probably got to make the first move. And if you hold your feet, you know, 8 out of 10, it's probably going to hit you. If you don't go first, then I think you're in a good spot. I think a few years ago, I think it was first year of Knights. There was went to penalty shootout in Swindon, and at the time I remember it vividly. Like Malash came down, and he came down the wrong side, and I was like, oh, what? Like, and I was like, obviously playing as normal. I'm like, that's not what he normally does. And he just shot it, and I just stood there, and it literally hit me in the toe, and I'm like, right, okay. Like, but it's just stuff like that. Like I try not to get in my own head because they've got the power as a skater coming in, but I don't know, just be patient, wait for him to do something, read the play, read the blade. Eyes don't tell you everything, all those goalie stuff, but I won't go too nerdy.
Yeah, I don't want to give it all away.
Worst player you faced in training.
What was that? Sorry.
Worst player you faced in training, as in like most annoying, who always grabs you with whatever team you've played.
Well, he'll enjoy this. You'll enjoy it, but it's Ollie, man.
Really?
Yeah, like he comes down, he'll either rip it by my ears or drill me straight in the toe. Like there is no, bless him, there's zero consistency, but he just like looks around like, what? Ollie, man, come on.
Is there an unwritten rule that in warm-ups they're not allowed to go for your head area?
Yeah, like it's just sort of don't know. Like, just don't hit him in the head. Don't ring it around his ears. Don't. And obviously the crossbar's like hit like just below shoulder height, so it's kind of tough for me. Um, but yeah, like just keep it low, hands, feet, just that kind of thing. Let the goalie warm up a little bit. But yeah, Ollie's it's chaos, isn't he? Like, he's a wrecking ball at the best of times.
Consistent with how he is.
Right, we always end on this question, and I know Charlie mentioned them earlier. But yeah, what's your message to the Knights fans going into this season? A new roster, slightly new roster, but still a lot of familiar faces as well.
Um, just bring the noise. Like every single night, just bring the noise, bring the excitement. You know, welcome the new guys and
Yeah.
support, unfortunately, the old guys. But yeah, just bring it. And like that cup final last year, like we thrived on it. So bring the noise, bring the passion. The boys will just react, and we'll have a great year yet again.
Nice one. I'd say I wish you luck. I hope you personally have a really good season.
Thank you.
But no, it's a joy to watch you over the years, and you are my mum's favorite goalie. She loves the name Gospel, so I thought I'd throw that in there. So
I'll take a win there.
nice one. We'll see you whenever we play. I don't think we play you for a while actually, until
No.
November-ish. So
Okay.
we'll make sure to say hello then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Nice one.
definitely.
Thanks,
No problem.
Hello and welcome back. We are into the second part of the podcast, or the special, where we look at this season. There's been quite a few changes to the roster, a few new imports to the Leeds Knights roster. But we'll start with the players who are not returning, Dad. And Harrison Walker is a backup who's played really well with Sam Gospel the last few seasons, but he's taken a new challenge elsewhere, and they've brought in Oliver Booth and Dan Norton. Now, I don't think they'll get too much ice time this season, maybe for Leeds, but they might get the odd game, and they're going to be able to learn under Sam Gospel. So two young goalies who you can't learn from anyone else better, really, can you?
No, you can't. And I know Sam will be keen to play as many games, if not all the games, throughout the season. But there are times when little niggly injuries kick in. So you're learning from one of the best in the league. So yeah, it'll be slightly different for them this season. But yeah, they'll enjoy the training, and they've got quality players that they're training with as well. So yeah, put them in a good position. They will be used, I'm sure. At least one will be
Well, I think
used
they're
at
playing
some
for
point.
the. I think both of them are
Yeah,
signed up for the Knights too, and then
yeah,
one can be backup for Gospel, and then the other one can play for the Knights too.
yeah,
So it's a nice
yeah.
little development for them.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Yeah.
Nice one.
That'd be good.
Right, on to the D men, and we'll start with the big one, Charlie. Noah McMullen is not returning,
Mm.
and it is a big loss for Leeds because Sam talked about how good his relationship was with Noah, and I think he actually went under the radar a bit in terms of fans around the league talking about him. There's a reason that they won back-to-back league titles with him. Talk about Noah McMullen, Charlie.
Yeah, I think he was a part of a new generation of players coming to this league, and he was one of the guys who started to set the tone. Um, I think he took a bit of time to settle, but as soon as he settled, he was probably the best one-on-one defenseman in his first season. Defensively, to get past, he could shut down any top guy in the league. And his points don't do the talking for how good of a player he was. His role was to protect Sam Gospel, to keep grade A's down, and to play some big minutes. And you've got two league titles and a cup to show for that. I think that does the talking. And
Mm.
yeah, I believe he retired, if I'm correct.
Possibly,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I wish him happy retirement. He came on the podcast, and yeah, absolute legend. I think Leeds Knights fans will always have a soft spot for him.
Yeah, he's definitely had success there. Three trophies in his 2 years playing. But they've replaced him with Matt Staudacher. And I think he's going to be a different type of defenseman to Nurma Mullin, Dad, because he is 6'1", so he's a much bigger defenseman, 25 years old, so similar age. But he's played in the NCAA, which is the top university league, and it looks like he was a shutdown defenseman in that league. And then he went and played in the Italian 2 League for half a season, then switched to the ECHL, which is the third division of USA/Canadian hockey. So a very, very high level. And I think he's going to bring a lot of solidity to this Leeds defence. And the fact that he's 6'1", I think that's a statement in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a big body in front of Sam Gospel. Again, I think it's I hope he's played in various leagues, so hopefully he will acclimatise quite quickly to the NHL. And yeah, I think if he's a big body shutdown player, he'll fit in well at Leeds, and it's what they need as a partial replacement. I mean, some legends have left, but time to make some new legends in Leeds, and he's got that opportunity.
Yeah, he's at that age, Charlie,
Yeah.
25 years old. And I think we're going to see we'll talk about another player in a second, but I think we're going to see a new look in that defence
Mm.
for Leeds this season.
Yeah, I think he's a bigger body, which I think you're hinting at there. And he's going to be clearing guys out in front of the net. And even in the Italian second division, which I personally cannot tell you the standard of that division, but he would have been the top D man on his team. He was 23 points in 19 games. And to me, that strikes me as a guy who, when the competition is a bit lower, and it's fair to say the National League isn't as good as the NCAA, I
Or
think
ECHL.
yeah, or the ECHL. I think he could be a guy who you see a bit like Noah McMullen, really pick up a lot more points than he did in his previous season. So yeah, I personally think this is a really tidy signing. I like the look of this signing. He is a big defenseman, but he doesn't get a crazy amount of pims either, which I think translates well into this league. And I think yeah, I do think Leeds, I think if we look back at that game against MK, in the playoff final, and I am being very critical of
Final.
Leeds here because semi-final, yeah, being very critical of Leeds here because they were the best team in the league last year. Maybe the one thing you could say their team lacked a bit of was physicality, and I think this is the type of guy who comes in and he definitely increases that.
Yeah, and another guy, Dad, who's going to come in and definitely increase that physicality and size of the defense is Sam Cooper. And I did not see this one coming, but it's a great little pickup. And we'll go to Charlie in a minute, who I know is a big fan of Sam Cooper. But 6'3" defenseman, we've seen him at Sheffield the last couple of seasons. He's still only 20 years old. We know how good Ryan Aldridge is at developing those young defensemen, and whether he's paired with the new import or whether
Mm.
he's going to be paired with Bo Neely or Griffin, you've got a big guy there who is going to clear the net. And again, what I hinted to just a minute ago, we're seeing a little bit of a new look in that defence.
Yeah, I think if they can, yeah, another big body in the D, and I think Charlie's spot on that semi final. I think they got a little bit bullied by MK, and the physicality wasn't there, and I think they ran out of steam towards the end of that semi final, and I think Sam is going to bring some physicality in, and I think you're going to need that with the level of imports and level of players that have come in the forward squad. I think you're going to need some big bodies to take control, and hopefully Sam will be one of those players. Young player, huge talent, and again, he'll be under a really good coach in Leeds, and I think he'll love it.
Yeah, it'll be a fun little decor,
Yeah,
Charlie. You can have Bo Neely on one line and
mm,
Sam Cooper on the other, both 20, 21 years old.
yeah,
And Sam Cooper has got, I think the reason why he's got 18 assists is because he's got a great first pass. And
yeah.
at Leeds, this is going to be key to get the puck. He's a great skater and just play it to Matt Howlett or Kieran Brown or one of the new import forwards, and they're just going to race down with the puck. And I think he'll pick up a lot more further assists this year as well.
Yeah, and I think they've given their rivals a loss as well.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it even a bit more sweeter. They've taken out of this new Sheffield system, taken for me one of their hot prospects in Sam Cooper, and I don't blame Sam Cooper for going there. Ryan Aldridge in the last 4 seasons, even when winning league titles, has proven he develops young players. There are countless examples, and in D, you see Bo Neely's taken a massive step forward under Ryan Aldridge. You see Bailey Perry has taken massive steps forward. Jordan Griffin, massive steps forward. As a
Look at how
20 year
young
old,
he is.
yeah, he's still very young.
22.
And all of these guys are still young. And I think, like, if you're a young defenseman, that's exactly who you want to play under, Ryan Aldridge. And I think it suits his play style, high, intense, physical fitness hockey. And I think this signing shocked me, and I think this is one of the ones for Leeds, which I think really was needed, but will also add so much to them.
Yeah, they did lose Dylan Hare for
Mm.
to the whole Seahawks, who actually had a really good season last year. But the decor they've got this season, Lewis Baldwin and Bailey Perry. They've got Griffin and Neely, and then obviously the two new ones of Sam Cooper and Matt Staudacker.
Mm.
So a really nice decor there for Ryan Aldridge, not a D man, over 25 years old. So a very young decor as well, but they've got the experience of winning league titles. So that's the experience which is key for them. On to the forward call then. And we'll start with, I'm going to go back to Charlie, and then you can give a word on him, Dad. But one of our favourite imports we've seen in this league, who is criminally underrated for the work he puts in, which some fans might not recognise, is Matt Barron. And this is going to be a loss, Charlie. And the new imports which are coming in have got very big boots to fill in Matt Barham.
Yeah. Again, it's a bit. This is the theme of Leeds in a lot of ways. A bit like Noah McMullen. His 83 points last year doesn't even tell you the full picture, because for me his best attribute is the fact he is everywhere on the ice and he reads the game, and yeah, for me he's a phenomenal import. Top three, minimum top five forwards in the league last year. And yeah, just for 2 seasons, lit the league up, won the league titles, was one of the best players in this league, and yeah, it doesn't get the credit he deserves. And even looking at his PIMs, 12 PIMs last year, he doesn't go in the penalty box. He stays disciplined. And it's a guy you're not going to replace at Leeds. You're not going to replace him. You're going to have a different outlook. You're going to have a different player. But someone like Matt Barron, they don't come around much in the National League. And a proper gent as well. You can just tell by the way he held himself. And he stepped up whenever was needed. Kieran Brown injured. Oh, there we go. Matty Barron hat trick. We see it every
Yeah,
single
he
time
stepped up with
last season.
goals when they needed them, and then
Mm.
he wouldn't mind stepping away from the goals
Mm.
if it meant putting in that extra defensive work. That he just adjusted his game so
Amazing.
well. Yeah. So that is Matty Barron is leaving. We'll get to the imports in a second, but one final guy, Dad, is Matt Hayward.
Yeah,
And this is going to be a big loss, not just on the ice, but you've got
off the
that
ice.
experienced leader
Yeah.
who's not going to be a part of their team next
Mm.
season. So they've got a. I think they've learned a lot from him, but there's got to be other guys stepping up now in that dressing room to take on that role.
There is, and I remember going to Leeds last season and the season before, um, and the respect within the team was immense. And he was, when we had some absolute classics with Swindon in Leeds, he was the player who was cajoling the team, who was getting Leeds going again, and just making sure they're on track. So he was the player on the ice for Ryan, who was bringing the players together and trying to keep their heads as well. He was also a player I saw him many times. He would get under the skin of the opponents as well, very, very easily. And Yeah, he will be missed. The respect was so high. What a fantastic career. And to go out winning your third league and a cup is pretty cool, isn't it? It was always great to see him at the end of the game with his family on the pitch as well. So yeah, he will be missed. But a new era, a new era.
Yeah, happy retirement
Mm.
to Matt Hayward. But they've got a few new faces in, and obviously
Mm.
they've utilised that extra import forward slot. So they've got two new import forwards, and we'll start with the older import who is going to probably take on some of that responsibility of leadership and experience, and it is Artur Makevich, the Austrian, 34 years old, can play on either wing, and he's had a long old career with a lot of his recent years in the French league, the top French league, and he's a very consistent point scorer. But Charlie, I don't think that's really going to be the be all and end all with him. I think the main thing is taking on that leadership role and that both ends of the ice role. And in a very young team, you do need some older, experienced players as well.
Yeah, I think especially looking at this Leeds team, there's only three guys over 30, which is quite rare in the National League, and then the next closest is not too close. So yeah, you've got Bissonnette, Arthur. I'm not going to pronounce his second name, and Gospel. But yeah, I think first of all, I was a bit skeptical when they first signed this guy who'd, yeah, played in Latvia, Russia, and France. But then the more I look at it, the more sense it makes. A guy who's going to be vocal in the dressing room, I can imagine. He's an experienced leader. He's had assistant captain at a team before. He's played at all international levels. And then the Liga Magnus is a massive level above the National League, and he played there last year, and he's played there for the previous couple years. And the fact he's coming from a standard that high, knows what this guy can do. And again, he's going to be one of them players who does more than just put the puck in the net. You don't play in the Liga Magnus if you haven't got a good two-way game. So he's going to read the game well. He's going to help them out. And the nice thing for Leeds is the fact you've got Kieran Brown and Matt Cowlett and Finn Braden who will put up numbers which not many Brits put up in this league. And so that means you can have imports who, for me, I still think Artis will put up very good points, but he will do so much off the puck as well.
Yeah, I think it's a signing they needed to make. I didn't actually realize that over 30 stats. So they definitely, I think, needed to go for an import who was a bit more experienced. And then Dad, someone who is kind of at that age, that 25, 26 years old, in Liam Payton, a Canadian. He's just come from the U Sports. Obviously, a lot of players coming from that league. And he did play a few games in his last season in the ECHL as well. And I think this guy is just going to be not your Matty, well, kind of is your Matty Barron replacement, but the guy who's not going to be solely relied on points, but he's going to come in and just do that defensive work up and down the ice, playing into that Leeds quick, fast-paced hockey.
Yeah, a little bit of an unknown, I think, maybe. But again, he's coming into a good squad, a team squad, um, and I think the important bit of the team squad is you're not relying on one player. As we've said already, there's countless players who will be bringing in the points, and I think it'd be interesting to see what the number of assists are as well, that come through. So yeah, it's like new imports into our league. The quicker they can settle in, and if there's a team ethic, which there has been with Leeds over the last few years, then they could absolutely fly. A bit of experience as well. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. A little bit unknown for me,
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
think a lot of the U Sports ones,
yeah,
you just don't know what their highest level they could hit,
no,
and maybe
no.
what kind of points range. You just
Mm.
don't know. Some of them
I
can
mean,
hit the ground
I
running.
mean, yeah, I mean, you look at Ryan's recruitment over the past few years. It's been pretty good, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And has brought players in at the right time. And because of the team ethic, it's allowed players to settle in. So don't see why it would be any different this season.
Yeah, and then they've obviously got Matt Bissonette, who we spoke
Mm,
about in that
yeah,
that
yeah.
first part, and I think that was a no-brainer bringing him back.
Mm.
And they have got a new forward who we know very, very well, Mr. Balint Vakosti,
Yeah.
and he's going to be wearing the number 93 shirt this season, which is going to be unique. But Charlie, what's he going to bring to the Leeds team, which maybe they've needed the last couple years?
Yeah, I just think again, I think for Leeds it's a slightly different look of a team. I think they're a bigger team. I think they're a bit more physical. With the two new D-men, I think Bally gets stuck in with the physicality side of the game. I think he's an agitator. Some would say rat. Like that sort of type of player, and I think that's a really strong trait of Bally. He gets under people's skin. And I think he's a guy who can play up and down the lineup. I think he can play on a third line, but he can also play with the top guys, as he's played with Thomas and Nal for so many years. So I think he's really versatile. He can play centre or winger. And I think he can be at around that point a game for Leeds. And yeah, to be honest, I don't really see how they could go wrong with a signing like that. I think he'll really suit the Leeds culture. And then an even bigger bonus, he's already been coached by Ryan Aldridge, I
Yeah.
believe. So like it all fits into place. I think it's a great signing, and I think he'll add a lot to their team, especially just him and Ollie are going to be so frustrating to play against when you play Leeds. Like just I think they're going to always be crashing the net, and that is what you want from players. So yeah, good sign, and I'll be sad to not see him in a Swindon shirt because it always made sense seeing Valley. So when we see him in Leeds, it's going to be like, ugh.
Yeah, well, it would be funny, Dad, to see if he continues that kind of ratty style against Swindon next season. I'm sure he's gonna try and get on a couple Swindon players' nerves and wind them up. But I think it's a good little signing, and as
Yeah.
Charlie said, he's played the centre role a bit last
Mm.
season. And if Finn Braden does move up to the top six, which I think is definitely a possibility, you've got a Bally who can fill in on that third line
Mm.
centre role, who's pretty good at face-offs and could create that good partnership with Ollie and Innes.
I think you've just got a really flexible player for Leeds that you can utilise accordingly. We're talking about Matt Hayward was a good wind up merchant. I'm sure I remember times when Bally was playing for Swindon and winding up Matt Hayward and trying to wind up Sam Gospel. Um, uh, Successful for both parties there, winding each other up. But I think he's going to be a good asset. I mean, it'd be good for him. Good development as well, I think, just to get into a new team, a new training regime. Um, a little bit of an unknown in the sense that he's played for Swindon for a number of years, and this could be a new opportunity. So, yeah, I think he's a good addition to Leeds. It just gives depth as well to the team, which is really important.
Yeah, and that pretty much completes the new players joining. And you've obviously got the likes of Ollie Endicott, who we've mentioned, Innes Gallagher, who I think's got a big step to take this season. And then Vengis as well is an exciting one. 16 years old, featured quite a few times last season, 20 times to be exact. And especially near the back end of the season, Aldridge gave him that responsibility of jumping on the third line and rotating with Innes a bit. So yeah, I think he'll definitely be someone to look out for with this season. Expectations then. I think. Do you want me to start with this one? I
Yeah.
think there's going to be high expectations because it's Leeds and they've won the league 3 times in a row. Um, do I expect them to go out and win the treble? No, I think that's an unrealistic expectation. But I think they've got to try and win the league again. They know how to do it. They've got a few new players in, but that could be a good thing because they're going to be hungry to try and win the league for the first time. I'm talking the likes of Sam Cooper and a couple of the new imports and Bally as well. He's going to be fired up to try and win one. So I think the expectation, as I've said with Swindon and Milton Keynes, all three of them, I think their expectation is to win the league this season. And if they can win another trophy alongside that, happy days. But yeah, they've got to try and retain their title. Charlie?
Yeah, I think of course, if you've won 3 leagues in a row, your expectations to win a fourth. Yeah, it's almost comedic saying that, but yeah, I think for me this year, yeah, I think the league is the one they're going to push for, and I think they've let the playoffs go for so many years now, and they've always won the league. I think they'll want to win the playoffs.
2 years
Um,
without now, yeah.
yeah, I think they need to win a cup again. Just keep that record, that roll going. When you have Kieran Brown at your club and Sam Gospel, the expectations to win a cup. And then yeah, just have a good season. I think they're Leeds, aren't they? You know what you expect from Leeds. They've got to win trophies.
Dad, anything else to add on that?
I think right leads off at your peril. Not that I'm writing them off, but suddenly I think the league is looking like it's gone up a notch or two, um, and maybe on paper not as prolific as they were previous seasons. But that's a lot of new players in. But you can't as I said before, Ryan Aldridge's recruitment in the past 3-4 seasons has been absolutely spot on. He's not afraid to make decisions if he needs to change things around. But I think they'll be going for right, four league trophies in a row would be fantastic. Um, yeah,
Go
don't
and
write
do
them off.
it.
I think they're going to be in the top three at least, and I think if they gel as a team, which they've done over the past few seasons, they'll be a big force to be reckoned with again.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I
absolutely.
do think I do think they might quite enjoy not being potentially. I think when you look at the teams, maybe not being favourites. I mean, that's a bit, it's probably first time ever to say that, but I think they might quite enjoy that.
Yeah. I think people, if people are predicting other teams to win it
Mm,
this year, that might give them that little bit of,
absolutely.
okay, we see you kind of
Yeah.
thing. But let's go on to a ones to watch each. Dad, we'll start with you. Who is your ones
Me,
to watch?
yeah. I am going to go with uh, Bally Bacosti.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go for that because fantastic at Swindon, but also I think this could be a really big season for Bally. New club, new opportunities, different players to play with, some real young players as well to play alongside in the team. So I think this could be a really good season. So definitely one to watch here.
Yeah. Charlie, who are you going to go with?
I'm gonna go with Jordan Griffin.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
He's 23, and we forget how young he is. And I just think he's due that little bit of a step up into the top four this year. And I think this will be the year he takes that step forward. He obviously got 13 points last year, 10 the year before, 17 the year before that. I think he'll hit 20 points this year, and I'll have a really standout year for them. I think he's again just one of them guys who goes under the radar. He's consistent. He's won 3 league titles with them at D, and he's assistant captain. So he deserves the respect. And so I think this year he's going to go under the radar again, but he's going to play top 4 minutes.
Nice one. I'm going to go Sam Cooper. I think he is someone who I think is just so dialed in on trying to win, and that's probably why he's made his decision to move to Leeds so he can win now and get a trophy. And yeah, he's a big body, brings something different to Leeds, which I don't think they've had the last few years. And he's going to be playing. Whoever it is, he's going to be playing alongside a good little defenseman as well. So yeah, it's a big season for Sam Cooper, and I'm excited to see how he develops even more. But yeah, that is pretty much it. There's only so much you can say about Leeds because they just seem to roll out the same kind of things every season.
what I would say, I think we haven't really mentioned Kieran Brown too
Yeah,
much, which is ironic. Mr. Leeds almost.
the league
But
really,
again,
basically.
um, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, the last 2 seasons has been phenomenal. We did mention that he had a slower start last
Well, he had an
season, but
injury, didn't he?
suddenly, yeah, absolutely. And then just suddenly started flying. And again, he'll be absolutely keen to I assume captain the team again
Yeah,
and push forward again.
He'll want
So
the top point scorer this year. He
yeah.
say that
won't.
again.
He won't be happy. Mr. Sobchak got Player of the
No,
Season and top point scorer. He'll want to take that crown back. So I think he'll be determined to finish as
yeah,
probably the top goal scorer and the top point scorer.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if we see him
yeah,
hit that 120
yeah.
point mark again.
Yeah, it would
Thinking
not
about
shock
it,
me.
actually, if he's playing from the start, which I'm sure he's ready
Mm.
to go, 54. He only played 48 last season, and he's still
Uh,
got over 100 points. So if he could play
yeah,
54 out of 54, he could
yeah.
smash it to pieces. So yeah, we'll see how it goes with Leeds.
Mhm.
Please do already, if you've not, go watch our other team specials. We've got a week left, pretty much. Just over a week. That I think we'll be releasing this Friday, so literally a week tomorrow. As you're watching this, the league friendlies will start. I know Milton Keynes are playing as this is released against Coventry. But yeah, we hope you've enjoyed this episode. 2 more to go, Bristol and Sheffield. So we'll see you in the next one. And thank you, Mr. Sam Gospel. Peace.